let's do an energy update for February the 23rd through March the 1st. I hope that you're well. I am working through it, okay? So, this upcoming week, we have a Pisces stellium, we have Mercury station in retrograde, we have the moon acting a fucking fool, and and then we end with some Leo energy, right? We're also still in eclipse season. So first let's do a quick backdrop so that you don't feel bad for feeling tired, unsure, uncertain, like heavy. Right now it feels very heavy, like water, right? So imagine like being overwhelmed by water. It's thicker, it's harder to like it's harder to work through. All right, so the moon starts out in Taurus. It's in Taurus today, so you could feel like you want to eat. There's a need for us to ground before we go into this week. There's also going to be a need for us to ground as we go through this week because of all of the water energy. The moon is going from Taurus. It goes into Gemini tomorrow night on the 23rd. And then it's going to go into Cancer on the 25th. And then it goes into Leo on the 28th. But I'm not going to go through all of the aspects of the moon. But just know, like Monday, it's square Mars. It's conjunct Uranus, right? So there could be a sudden like understanding of something emotionally, right? There's something that comes up with it conjunct Uranus. It's like an understanding from our inner infrastructure, like something that now we know, right? And then the square to Mars is now we're irritated about it because what the fudge, okay? There is a sextile to Mercury. There's like some support from our outer planet, from Saturn and Neptune. So it feels like there's this like reality check of what you're creating, your vision for the future, and your thought process or your emotional processes around it. But the moon is going to act like that like every day next week, right? It's on the 24th, there's a quarter moon. So let's talk about that a little bit because a quarter moon is like a decision point. It is the midpoint in the orbit of the moon from the new moon to the full moon. And we are going into a full moon lunar eclipse. So whatever comes up this week, especially earlier in the week where you have to make a decision, be mindful of you making that decision for future you. There is, if it doesn't feel like it just feels like a cleansing that's going on. And sometimes when we're in between, it's easy to want to fall back. And I genuinely don't think that we can. Like, you can choose it, but it's going to be turmoil, right? You can choose the old thought process. You can choose the old pattern. You can choose the old person behavior, whatever it is. But it's going to be like turmoil and chaos. And you're going to feel like you're deteriorating in that circumstance, right? So it's kind of like a need to float on your back through this week and just know that you're going to be emotionally triggered, but you're also very much protected as you go through it. All right. So more backdrop, because I don't even know if I got to the backdrop, but we're in the middle of eclipse season. There's also the year of the fire horse. And I'm going to do more content on this because I think it's important to know that we came from like the wood snake to the fire horse, going to the fire goat. And so we have a spark, but there is this need for us to like play with the spark and build a container and become really good at it. And that doesn't happen. I also was channeling 8 to 9 months a couple days ago. So Spirit was telling me like 8 to 9 months, it's like they were telling me like it's like a football season or birthing a baby, right? Like you go through preseason and you can see how the team is playing and who looks good. They talk to me like that because I like football. But, like you're watching it and then you show up every Sunday to watch your team play or to see what happens or, see if somebody gets injured. And there's like a process to it is what they're saying before you get really good at it. And so they kind of want you to play with the energy or the spark or creation or thing that is coming to you. We have Saturn and Neptune that came into conjunction. So there's another, again, this is just, these are big cosmic transits. And so our physical bodies feel like it has not shown up in the 3D, but we can feel like we're processing it. Like we're processing this new frequency that is supposed to come out of us. And we don't really know what the fudge, like, okay, like got that part. Do I get like the next part? And I feel like this next part or this week is heavy on just integrating it, right? I think there's some shedding that is going on because we have not gotten to the lunar eclipse, which is near the South Node, which is about karmic endings and releases. And with Virgo, it's about the need to be perfect, the need to know the plan. I like the plan. So God, Goddess, all that is, knows that I'm pretty rebellious and I like the plan, It's probably why they talk to me. Like, calm down, child. But really there's this overarching heaviness that is not to be mistaken, right? So if you're feeling under the weather, if you're feeling, like you have to, there's remedies to it, like simple things like grounding your energy, going outside, fresh air, more water, removing things out of your space that are low vibrational, things that you do not love, things that, may be tied to other people's energy. Like there is a need to cleanse. And with a Pisces stellium happening with Venus, Mercury, and the Sun in Pisces, there is this like blessed energy with that to me. It's like God, Goddess, all that is giving us this chance to cry and to shed and to cleanse the soul and to release. And once we enter into Aries season, I feel like that is when things are going to pick up speed and go. But nothing just happens. Like even when you get pregnant, right? There's still a phase of it integrating into you in order for you to grow it. And I feel like we're in that phase of like, woo, okay, like, am I not, type of thing. And you just haven't had the confirmation in your 3D reality to go, no, you're really on this new timeline. And I feel like that is coming, but there is space that is there that we're needing to kind of shed out. Okay, so Mercury goes retrograde on the 25th, the 26th, depending on where you are. All the normal Mercury retrograde things. Mercury is retrograding in Pisces. Things can feel heavy and slippery. There could be messiness to it. Mercury does not do well in Pisces because it is logical. And this is calling for us to trust this week. Trust and faith. And I don't want to be in this space, but there's this need. And there are things that are showing up in my reality. Like, do you trust it? Do you have faith? What have you learned? And if you're going through this too, it just feels so heavy. I've cried a lot. I want you to know, biggest thing is that you're not alone in it. The cosmic energy right now is impacting everybody. You can see it in the headlines. You can see it in the people around you. They may not be highly aware enough to understand what is happening, but we can see new identities and new, like people just newness. And then there's this like counteracting interference energy. And I feel like that is what we are like raising our vibration further and further and further away from. And this week we're going to be hit with all the emotions around it. We're going to be triggered. There are going to be sudden understandings and revelations of things. Mercury stationing is the heaviest of its retrograde. And that happens this week. And then we get used to that energy, right? So just ground your energy, take care of yourself, love yourself, get a hug, lean into your creativity, but have faith and know that all things are working for you always. If that was messy, we're going to blame Mercury. Okay? All right.